A couple of years ago, a fellow that was in that 12-step recovery group that I co-chair told me that he had subscribed, and he said, well, I'm sure that your messages reach 3 times as many people as you send them to, just by your subscribers forwarding them to their friends. So if that's true, I'm reaching 66,000 people, and I don't doubt that. I frequently get messages back. I think people are just trying to show me that they're doing that. I'll get a message back, and there'll be between 30 and 50 names in the send to line, so that's very encouraging.
See, I don't want to add a bunch of extra work to Keith's already overwhelming workload. I'm sitting in his office now. He's told me the details of what goes into this, and at the end of this interview, Keith's going to sit down and give you a presentation of exactly how he sends his messages out on a daily basis, and I think you'd be very impressed. That's something to look forward to. I'm just, of all the messages you sent, Keith, I just know from experience, with my addiction messages, I've had people write me and send me messages from Africa that said that my poems got through to their husband, and it may have been the only thing that saved their family was the knowledge that came from my poems, from my long history of struggling with all these bad choices I made. I didn't have it, that's about it. But what was the most impacting response you've ever gotten to any message you've ever sent? You had to have one that just stands out.
Well, the first one that really moved me was, it's probably 3 or 4 years ago now that I sent a message out on Friday called The Powers of God. I don't like sending out long messages, but this one was so good that I sent it out. It was a long message. I came home the following Monday, and I had a message waiting for me from a fellow named Keith in South Africa. I was kind of struck. My name,
Hello, Keith.
He said, "Dear Keith, I came into work today fully intending clean out my desk, go home, put a gun to my head, and end my life. And this message showed me that it wasn't right to do that. And I sat there with tears running down my cheeks thinking, Lord, I never imagined that just a simple email message could literally save someone's life. And that,
on the other side of the world.
Yes, and that's happened 3 more times since then. It's amazing the doors the Lord will open to you if you will just faithfully follow Him. There's a chorus, says, step by step He'll lead me, and I will follow Him all of my days. And that's what I want to do with my life.
And was this guy even a Christian?
Oh, yes.
So he was a sworn Christian.
Mm-hmm.
What's the religion they practice in Africa?
I don't.
A Muslim country?
South Africa isn't, no.
No?
It's Christian.
But you do reach the Muslim nations too.
Oh, yeah, there are subscribers there.
And weren't you saying something about one subscriber that...
Yeah, one subscriber from a Muslim country for 2 years was my biggest contributor to support the ministry, and that surprised me. So,
I'm talking about the one with the funny address.
Yeah.
And the one on the island, the South.
Oh, there's the subscriber that's somewhat the most interesting to me. There's a young man who subscribed, said, I'm the son of a pastor on a small island out in the middle of the Pacific. And I was just astonished to think they've even got internet out in small islands way out there in the ocean. But I've got subscribers all over Europe, in Africa, in Nepal, in Asia, in Australia, New Zealand, literally all over the world, Norway. It just amazes me. I haven't cataloged them all, but I know that it reaches people all over the world, and I get prayer requests from missionaries all over the world. I was a little surprised about 3 weeks ago. I got a prayer request from a missionary in Papua New Guinea, and our pastor had just interviewed a person from that country, and it's kind of remote. And it just blesses me so much that now I get a lot of prayer requests from missionaries all over the world. Some of them I know, most of them I don't. But I'm so glad, and we get constant praise reports and things about what we had a young man earlier this summer who wrote and said, "Thank you so much for your prayers." He said, "I sent a prayer request out about 2 months ago. My brother, one of his eyes had clouded up and he'd gone blind in that eye. I sent a prayer request in, and I want to thank you folks for praying, because last week I was with my brother. His eye was clear and he sees perfectly." He said, "It just amazes me to know that the Lord still heals the blind and can cause cripples to walk and all of that. He hasn't changed at all. He never will." So it just to think that the Lord has given me this responsibility is such a blessing to me. I thank Him that, and that's, Steve, you talked to me earlier about how do I choose which message to send every day. And I remember years ago when I first got those questions, how did you know I needed this message today? I didn't. That was God. He directed me to send it. And that's still, every day I pray, Lord, help me to pick the correct message for today. I get probably around 800 messages a day. It takes some time to sort through that stuff. I have a spam filter and it sorts out the real garbage. But I go through a lot of messages, pick out the good ones, save them, send them out when the Lord speaks to my heart. And it continues to grow. So.
And then you have prayer requests.
Yes.
And prayer warriors.
Yeah, I've right now got about 8,070 prayer partners all over the world. That's the thing that just amazes me the most, because I send out between, I'd say, 30 and 40 prayer requests every day. When I started sending them all out, I thought sure that people would just head for the hills like crazy. At that time I had about 5,000 intercessors. Now I'm over 8,000. People didn't. There are so many faithful prayer warriors all around the world who intercede for others. It encourages me to know that exists within Christ Church, all that faithfulness and concern about others. And another side of that is quite frequently someone will send in a prayer request and the next day I'll get a note from a subscriber offering encouragement or counsel to that person, and that is just excellent. So people aren't just recipients, they're participants, and that's a wonderful thing.